Board gamers, we need to talk. What we have is a situation where people have, I believe, forgotten how to have fun with nonsense. When I first got into the hobby, I got into the hobby on a game called Munchkin, and you will find many a gamer who will say many an unkind thing about Munchkin. Most of us got into the hobby on the Milton Bradley stuff with the Monopolies and the whatnots, and obviously those games aren't great anymore, but at the time, who cared? But every once in a while, you can play a game where you can shut off your brain, just enjoy the activity, enjoy playing with your friends, and, shut up. Quit complaining about shit, he said, complaining about shit. Recently, I got my hands on a game that I was hesitant to buy because people would rail against it. They say that, oh, it's just random, no one cares, the other person is doing things, you can't ever do anything. Well, if everyone at the table feels like everyone else can do things, but they can't, then everyone can do things. You just can't. So what we're doing is I'm going to take a look at a game that is not going to stay in my collection. It's out. But that's not what the purpose of this video is. The purpose of this video is to tell you why it's out, what it could have done to stay in, and how it still might have a chance. If they reprinted it, I would buy it, and it would be in. Ladies and gentlemen, set your expectations accordingly, because we're having a few beers, we're talking with a few friends, and we are getting down and dirty with all dim rubies in Barker's Road, designed by Stephen Aramini and illustrated by Andrea Olgiati. That illustration is the fucking best. It is a set collection game in which you and a handful of players are going to be trying to make sets in an old carnival style thing, and it's all super creepy and super fun. Now, the first thing you're going to notice about this game is how completely and utterly overly produced that it is. And that, oddly enough, in a world where I pimp my own games, is my main and only complaint about the experience itself. And we'll talk about why that is a deal breaker in a moment, but for now, let me just show you how beautiful this game is. All right, rulebook, who cares? Fuck off. These are our tarot-sized attraction cards. These are gonna have all of the, for those of you who don't know, Barker's Row, this is a carnival game. All right, cool. We all caught up? Wicked. So here are all of the cool things that you're going to be trying to collect sets for. How many do you need per set? Doesn't matter, but look at these things. Look, Sword Swallower. We have a tribal mask. We have a living dinosaur. These are beautiful and horrific and very, I love the size of the card. I love the way they feel. Ooh, very nice. Talk about that bullshit in a second. We have the sets of cards that you'll be making. These are the sets of cards. Oh, terrifying and wild and hairy and curious and bewildering. Everything at the bottom has a different thing that it said, and you're trying to get sets of these. So let's say, for example, I want to build this alien artifact. What do I got to do? I got to find a certain number of the yellow cards to pop it in front of me. Boom, put it right there, and it has a one-time ability that once I've done, everyone's seen the attraction and it's lost its luster in it. Ooh, slides back here, very nice. And then we get to the only problem I have with the game. Here are these stands. These are the wonderful places where you will be putting your rubes. Look at these rubes. Oh, most of them have different art on them. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's like a Professor Layton game where, oh, they're so cool. And then when you get rubes, you go, how do you get rubes? You have to get victory points. How do you get victory points? You make sets of things. We've been over this. And then the first person to get a certain number of rubes, aka fill up all the thing, look at it. Oh, doesn't that look so cool on the table? Oh, it really is. And then here, boom, boom. Here is the Strongman Tower. You pop this right there. You pop these little things on the side. And that is how many of the cards that you need in a set to put this out. So obviously, the higher you get, you need more cards at the end to get the full amount. But there are cards that can kind of push it down, etc., etc. Look at this big cockin' thing right here. Look how much table presence this has. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is my problem. This, don't fucking need. These, I don't need these. On the back, there's the help sheet, but when it's like down here, so this is you playing. Can you read it? Can you read it? Can you read it? No, I don't fucking need those. These rubes, as beautiful as they are, I wouldn't get rid of them. This is the one thing I would keep as far as production goes because they're wonderful. I fucking love them. They could be tokens, but ooh, beautiful. But here's the game. Deck of cards, rubes. And this is the size of the goddamn box. Beautiful box. It's an advertisement. It's, wow, is it pretty. This game needed to be into a box this size. I'm going to do an experiment. I'm going to see if I can fit all the stuff that I would want to keep in this Judge Dredd box, which is another game of just this and a deck of cards. I don't miss that smell though. So let's see if this could have worked. So, attractions. Oh wow, they fit. Fantastic. More attractions. Okay, boom, look, cards. They fit. But wait a minute. Let me try to see, well, all these rubes, I don't know if I have room for them. Let me just kind of... And there you have it. The new and improved, upgraded edition of Barker's Row. Oh, you have complaints. Oh, your first complaint is, oh, you like this? You like the 3D nature of the stands? I agree, it is very eye-catching. It's very nice. Look at this. I put them up here, and it's super cool. But you know what this could have been? It could have been a card with squares on it that I could put people on, and you could still have this right here, 3D kind of transposed onto that, and then put them up there, and you still keep the 3D element. Wonderful. But then you have this thing. I don't have a problem with the wobble. I don't have a problem with this at all. I actually think this is a very cool idea. But the strongman tower where you hit it goes bloop, ding. So these little doohickeys right here are supposed to slot into the side, and every time you score, which is fairly often because the game is very, very quick, you're constantly moving this thing up and down, and it's a nightmare. So this could have been yet another card that I can put a marker on to show how much my next thing is, and fantastic. Or even better, what we could have done, these attractions could have had a number value on them to just show, hey, this is worth this is worth this many rubes, this is worth this, because obviously people want to go see the gooseneck girl a lot more than they want to go see the, no, these are always super cool. Maybe they don't want to go see Blockhead Billy. No one wants to talk to anybody named Billy. So if they had maybe the amount of number on here and the points that it got, so obviously you could hold out for a higher number of sets, but you have a chance of someone taking them away from you. But then I see the problem with that is if I'm playing a lot of low ones, then I'm trying to get a lot here, then I don't have that opportunity. But I feel like that is a hurdle that the designer of this game could have easily overcome. I feel it's unfair for me to judge this game on what I want it to be as opposed to what it is. What it is a very, very fun set collection kind of game. I didn't even tell you how you play the game. It's easy. You play with the advanced variant that the designer put online because it is more fun to play, where you have a Barker deck and you have Barker Row. So you have Barker deck, Barker Row. On your turn, on the regular game, you just take one of these, you put it in the middle face up, and then has a number, and that's the number, because that number corresponds with the number here that you have to get in sets to make an attraction. Right? Easy. But in the advanced variant, you have a hand of 3 of these. And what you do is you'll take one into your hand, you'll look at it, and then you'll play one from your hand to the Barker Row, or to the midway, in the middle. And then at that point, you can choose to score an attraction or use an attraction, and then you refill. Easy. And there are things that manipulate this. Very fun. Now, it's more fun to have something in your hand because you're like, oh, I don't want to waste that wild because he has an attraction that actually uses wilds. So I'm going to hold on to this just in case I need it to combo something later, because some of the wilds, which are very, very cool, have this little plus on it. That means you play it to the table and then you play something else from the Barker's Row. But if that one has a plus, you could chain it through and then get the ones you need in order to get your attractions. I love the art. I love the theme. I love the components. I really do. They are wholly unnecessary. And if you could give me this game right here in this box, not the Judge Dredd box obviously, but a smaller box and a smaller footprint, then, ladies and gentlemen, this would be 100% in my collection because it would be easy for me to grab on the go, take it to the bus or wherever I'm going. I could keep it in my drawer at work. This is a very fun, just lighter, evocative game with really good components. Not that one, this one. But my shelf is already packed to the brim as it is. And I don't have room for this game in my collection, regardless of how good it is. But if they came out with a second edition on Kickstarter, I think there's some extra attractions. So Mr. Aramini, I don't want you to think that I don't like your game, because quite the contrary. I really like it. I just can't keep it because this box is way too big. This was in Barnes & Noble. You made a lot of money. If you release a second edition, get rid of this. Get rid of these. Keep all of this. Keep the core game the exact way it is. Add the variant into the rulebook. But you pop it in a box like this that I can take with me everywhere, I will back that shit day one on Kickstarter, and I will do everything I can to ensure that game gets made. I will pimp the shit out of it. You send me a copy, I'll review the fuck out of it, and I will make everyone buy it because that's what I do. Let's do some housekeeping. All right, we have for 2 to 4 players. 2 is what I played it with, and 2 is what I would recommend. Because of the chaotic nature of you not knowing if the other person can take one or I can take one, there's a lot of chaos that can happen. I would push it to 3. I don't think I would play it with 4. But the score was very, very close. I only lost by like 1 rube, 1 point. We never called them points. We always called them rubes. Fucking love these. Lost by 1 point. So the spread is very close. So you may feel like, oh, I'm not getting anything done, but then you get stuff done. It is 25 to 45 minutes. Let's just call it an even 30. It's very, 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 very fast. Very fast. And then ages 13 and up. There are some creepy things in here, and I wouldn't have it any other way, honestly, because it's cool. So as the game goes on, as I mentioned, we have this strongman tower. The points are always 2 points, but it's, you know, whatever. And that's the kind of catch-up mechanic where everyone, if you're down here at the bottom and someone's already made it up here, you have a chance of completing these before they get this one. But if you know what you're doing, as we did yesterday, getting 9 towards the end is easy because you start chaining them wiles together. You start keeping those little high cards in your hand. You pop them to the table. You see what the other person's trying to go for by the cards they're laying down. This game is really good. I really want to keep it, but I can't. It's too big. It's too big for what it is. Obviously I have set collection games. Who doesn't? But I need this giant ass game in a smaller ass box. I plead with you. Please. I guess I could throw away all the crap I don't need. But these, it's unnecessary. And your game, Mr. Aramini, is good enough to stand on its own despite what the fucking haters say who forgot how to have fun playing games. When this series is all said and done, this will not be a list of my top 100 games of all time. This will be my games that I currently own, and that's it. So this game is one of the better set collection games that I've ever played, honestly. But it is not a game that I can own because I just don't have room for it. And I wish I did. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on this, the latest edition of the Hard 100. If your shelf is bigger than mine, it's perfect for your shelf. If you want a good, lighter, kind of quick set collection game that has some really creepy atmospheric stuff on it, 100% go for it. You don't see this theme too often, and I don't know why. But game designers, game publishers, if you are going to give me a box this big, you need to justify it with more than a dick in a box. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on this, the latest edition of the Hard 100. I hope you and yours are well. I'm gonna miss it. Peace out.